Now that you're practically experts on water quality monitoring with CreekWatch, let's test your knowledge.
What should you be wearing when opening chemicals? A. Closed-toed shoes. B. Safety glasses. C. A top hat. Or D. Both A and B. The answer is actually D, both A and B. It's kind of a trick question here. You should already be wearing closed-toed shoes when you're doing your water quality sampling.
When opening dry or wet chemicals, what are some of the hazards to be aware of? A. Animals. B. Direction of the wind. C. Eye and skin exposure. Or D. Both B and C. The answer is D, both B and C. You want to always be aware of what direction the wind is coming from, and you always want to know if any chemicals come into contact with your skin or your eyes.
Where should you collect a water sample from? A. Chest-deep water while wearing waders. B. Uncharacteristically high, swift, and turbid water after a storm. C. Ankle-deep moving water. D. A puddle beside the creek. The answer is C. Ankle-deep moving water. Ideally, you shouldn't get your feet wet at all, but we always want to be sampling from moving water.
How do you dispose of wastewater without chloride chemical in it? A. Add a dash of baking soda to neutralize the water. B. Test if the waste is neutralized by using a wastewater pH strip. C. Pour it down the toilet. Or D. All of the above. The answer is D. All of the above. You want to first add baking soda, and then you can test it with a pH strip to make sure it has been neutralized, followed by pouring it down the toilet for further treatment.
How do you dispose of wastewater with chloride in it? A. By pouring it into an outhouse. B. By pouring it into another wastewater bottle. C. By storing it in the large chloride wastewater bottle provided. D. Drinking it. The answer is C. We always want to keep chloride waste separate from the other waste that we collect from the other tests.
How should you measure the temperature of the creek using the thermometer? A. In shaded moving water. B. While making contact with your hand. C. In direct sunlight. D. At the picnic bench beside the creek. The answer is A. In shaded moving water. We want to always make sure you are collecting your temperature sample in the moving part of the creek.
How do you accurately measure turbidity using the turbidity tube? A. By looking at the top of the tube. B. By looking into the tube from the top. C. By looking at the side. D. By looking at the bottom. The answer is B. We always want to look from the top of the tube down.
What color does the sample change to indicate the chloride concentration? A. Neon yellow. B. Blue. C. Green. Or D. Rusty orange. The answer is D. Rusty orange. Once you've added enough drops and it's changed that color, the test is complete.
When collecting Crete water for your dissolved oxygen, how should you hold the round glass bottle? A. Bottom first, angled up to the stream. B. Bottom first, angled downstream. C. Head first and angled upstream. Or D. Head first and angled downstream. The answer is B. We hold the bottle that way so there's no water bubbles happening when we collect our water sample.
What is the data sheet? A. Your in-field recording device and hard copy of your test results. B. What you will reference when entering your data into our database. C. A document that may be shared with your group and therefore should be legible to all. Or D. All of the above. The answer is D. All of the above. You want to make sure you keep that data sheet in a very safe place and make sure you can get it entered online and contribute towards our provincial database.
What should you do if you get moisture in your lab? A. Test the water quality of the water inside. B. Grow mold and destroy our data sheets. C. Open the lid of the lab and kits so they can dry out. D. Open the lid of the lab and leave it in a public park. The answer is C. We want to take good care of these labs, and opening those lids helps them dry out.
Hopefully you've used the information you learned from training to successfully complete this quiz.
You are now ready to go monitor your local waterway with CreekWatch.
Happy sampling.